Right, show you the price of oil first thing on a Monday morning. Not much change today. We're at $43 per barrel. Now this, the GOP health reform plan includes tax cuts. Surely they could jump the economy if we pass healthcare reform. Come on in, a man who knows all about jumpstarting an economy with tax cuts. His name is Art Laffer. He's the former Reagan economist. For the investor, Art, the tax cuts included in this healthcare repeal bill, that's the big deal. It's tax cuts that's the big deal.
It is the tax cuts that's the big deal. I mean, Warren Buffett says he's going to save $680,000 on just the 3.8% add-on. That means his income is $17 million. And, you know, but the point of it is these tax cuts will spur the economy. We're going to get rid of the mandate, which is an enormous tax on people who want to do their own insurance. We're going to get rid of the medical device tax. There are all sorts of other taxes that are going to get rid of. And that's what's going to really spur the economy. And I'm very excited, and I think it's great. And
yeah,
your previous guest, your previous guest, who said he's not going to vote for it because it doesn't have all the other things he wants. You should never let the best be the enemy of the good.
Right.
This bill is better than Obamacare, period.
Now, you go back to the 1980s, when President Reagan was struggling to get the second tax reform bill before Congress. It took enormous amounts of time, arm twisting, sausage making. Do you believe that at the end of the day, this time around, we'll have the same result? Sausage making looks ugly, but we'll get a deal.
I'm not sure it looks ugly. I think it's very entertaining. But yes, we had three tax bills. We had the 81 Tax Act, then we had the 82 Act, which took back, it was the $90 billion tax increase, Bob Dole's, but it took all the silly tax cuts out and left the rate reductions in. And then we got the 86 Tax Act, which is the closest thing to nirvana I have ever seen. It's just the most spectacular tax bill. And it led to enormous prosperity, and we got almost every Democratic vote in the Senate. There were only 3 in the Senate who voted against it after we taught them good economics.
Well, it's a different Democrat Party this time around, and it's a different issue, but let's see how things work out. Art, stay there, please. We need your coverage of the opening of the market in 4 minutes' time. And by the way, we will open on the upside. If you look at futures, we're still set for a gain of 60, maybe 70 points, right from the get-go. 4.5 minutes from now. We'll be back. Liz McDonald, of course. Ashley Webster makes a welcome return. Art Laffer and Keith Fitzgerald. Here we all are on a Monday morning, and the market has gone up despite what's going on in D.C. Explain it, Keith. What's going on?
Traders have begrudgingly figured out that they better get on board, Stuart, because like it or not, the data underlying all of this is pretty darn good, and that means they've got to do what they do best, which is bet on growth.
Hold on a second. Durable goods orders. Now, we don't usually get into this technical stuff, but durable goods orders were down over 1%. That's orders for big ticket items. I don't call that good economic news, Keith.
Well, on the economic side, no. But on the company side, you've got 2 very important ingredients. Government statistics are more cooked than a Christmas goose, Stuart. You and I have talked about that many, many times. But if you look at companies, particularly these big technology companies, revenues are increasing just as fast as earnings are increasing. That is the sign of a healthy economy, even if the government data has not caught up. And that's what's caught traders' attention. Traders I talk to know they've got to get on board or get left behind.
Okay. On the left-hand side of your screen, you see Facebook, which has now reached $156 per share. Look at the Dow winners. They include Apple right at the top there, 147. But let me go back to Facebook for a second. We've got news on that company. They're going to have original programming. They're going to produce it for television. I want more on this, Ash.
Yeah, and they're prepared to pay up to $3 million per episode, which apparently is the going rate.
That's huge.
$3 million. They're also exploring short-form, unscripted videos of 10 minutes duration or thereabouts that would feature in their Spotlight segment, and they're going to do a ad-sharing scheme with the creators of those short-form videos. Bottom line is, content is king these days. Netflix is going to be spending $6 billion this year.
Yeah, but you know, with Netflix, Netflix has a lot of off-balance sheet debt. Their total debt is veering toward $15 billion.
That's
it's swamping its cash flow. But back to Facebook, Hollywood loves it because Facebook is going to share information about their 2 billion users, and it could capture more millennial eyeballs for those Hollywood scripts.
Okay.
So that's the interplay here.
Keith, I heard some comment from you. What do you got?
Liz is so spot on. That is amazing insight. They're going to share the content. That's what's monetizable. Netflix is a one-trick pony of all the FANG stocks. That's the one I'm concerned about, because unless they line up, they've just got an endless machine where they've got to get money, put it in content, and there's no end game. Everybody else has got content and an end game.
All right, Facebook's up $1.28 now, 156 on Facebook. I want to take a look at the price of oil. Not because it's at $43 a barrel, but because it's way down in the last couple of weeks, and that means we've got very cheap gas coming on stream. How big a plus for the economy is gas at $2.20 a gallon national average? Art Laffer.
I think it's very helpful. I mean, this is amazing. The drop in the price of oil is an extraordinarily stimulative factor in this economy. And remember, the neat thing about oil versus the stock market, Stuart, which we've talked about a lot of times in the past, is the price of oil reflects the current economy. The stock market reflects what the economy will be. And the two are slightly different metrics, and I think the two are just showing us we're in for a nice boom ahead of us.
Am I right when I say that 6 states will be below $2 a gallon by the end of this week? Art Laffer, am I on track?
I think you're right on track. In fact, I'm surprised that oil is as high as it is.
Okay, got it. American frackers fracking away.
Yeah. Yes, they are.
Boy, I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon.
Yes. I'm sorry, Art. This is a family show.
That's
I'll turn
right.
it down.
Goodness gracious.
Frack till the cows come home, sports fan. Don't you love it? Check the price of oil. No, not the price of oil. Certainly not. Look at this. 65 points higher for the Dow Industrials, 21,462. Not much movement in gold, although it is down this morning. I think we're off $11 an ounce as of right now. I've got to bring this story to you again. I'm going to pound this all day. Amazon, story of the day. They filed for a patent for a drone delivery tower. That's just a little drawing of it. It's being compared to like a beehive for drones. Trucks drop off packages at the lower level. Drones pick them up and fly them off the top and deliver them. Don't you like that? Amazon's at $1,008 per share.
There's
Stop
the future.
shaking your head.
Well, there's the future. We're looking at it.
Every day there is an Amazon story, and it seems to go up all the time.
More.
Pandora's CEO and the co-founder, Tim Westergan, he plans to step down. So that's the gentleman right there. What's Pandora's stock this morning? I'm not quite sure. I think we'll get it up there in a second. They've got a lot of competition, though, haven't they?
Yeah, they
Pandora?
do. Spotify and all those other Apple Music, you name it.
Yeah. Well, the new CEO, I don't know who it's going to be, but that guy is out. And that's enough for a near 4% gain on the stock.
Investors like it, apparently.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure about all these things.
Yeah.
I do know that over the
use
weekend
Pandora.
I was
It's good.
driving a lot,
Yeah.
and I was listening to XM satellite radio,
Yes.
which has a new all Beatles channel.
Oh,
on channel
boy.
They do.
18. Yes.
you-
Did you hear that?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, so Art
that in your
Laffer,
van?
you know what I'm talking about. And
I've listened to it. I put it in my automatic thing already, and the Beatles, although they're not all Beatles, they put in some other garbage in there, but I love it when they play the Beatles.
All right, more on this later.
Yes.
How about this one for you? SpaceX has successfully completed 2 rocket launches over the weekend. Keith, these launches are a victory for CEO Elon Musk, I think. Nothing really to do with Tesla's stock, but the man himself is looking pretty good now, isn't he?
Well, I think so. You know, he continues to prove he's one of the most innovative CEOs on the planet. One of the things that I like about him is he's not afraid to think out of the box and then do exactly what he says he's going to do. Detroit thought he couldn't do it. The space guys thought he couldn't do it. There is nothing that guy can't put his mind to and get around to eventually. That, to me, is exciting and compelling.
I just wish he'd run his company on the basis of profit and loss as opposed to green tax subsidies. But that's just
Amazon
me.
does.
Let me tell you something. Profit, the final frontier for Tesla. Waiting on
Very
profit.
good. That's another good line.
Sorry, I was thinking space. I was thinking
Yeah.
Star Trek.
Were you working on that line the whole
No, I
weekend?
just no.
But it was a good one.
I know you think I do, but I don't. Moving on.
Yeah, moving on. I find this one interesting too. Lots of interesting stories. There's a hedge fund manager. He's an activist investor. Daniel Loeb is his name. He's bought a $3.5 billion stake in Nestle. Now, Nestle is a European company, and Dan Loeb is an American activist investor.
They're not going to like that.
No, I don't think they are.
And he's
But-
telling Nestle to dump the stake in L'Oreal.
Yes, he is.
another European
But
French
Art
company.
Laffer, American activist investors are not usually successful in Europe, are they?
Well, Dan Loeb is amazing. If you know him personally, he's an amazing person, and I would never bet against him come hell or high water, to be honest with you. And Nestle is an old company that really does need some shakeup.
Keith, I think Nestle agrees with some of Dan Loeb's ideas on how to get the company going again. Is that right?
Well, to Art's point, he is an incredibly brilliant investor. I think the one cautionary note here for me is that you've got to, not as an investor, you can't just do what an activist is doing, because the presupposition is it's good for the company. It's good for the activist. If your interests line up with Dan Loeb's interest, then you know what? Fantastic. But if they don't, stay away from stuff like that.
Interesting, though, that an American activist takes a stake, a $3 billion stake, which is a very small stake, actually, and the stock goes up near 3.5%. Nestle is at 88 as we speak. And then we have SeaWorld. They've received subpoenas from the Justice Department and the SEC regarding its response to the Blackfish documentary. Now, sort this out quickly.
Here's what happened early in 2014. The former CEO tells Wall Street no noticeable impact from the the Blackfish controversy, which said you're mistreating your whales in captivity. This will not hit our earnings. From August, the stock took a nosedive, nearly 33%, due to bad earnings, poor park attendance. So now the DOJ and SEC are investigating. DOJ hit it with subpoenas, possibly due to alleged fraudulent statements by the former CEO.
Okay, they're going after him. Got it. Now, the Dow Industrials are up nearly 80 points in the early going here. And I have to say thank you very much to Art Laffer and Keith Fitz. Great guys. We appreciate you being with us on a Monday morning. It's been quite a day so far. Yeah, that went quick, didn't it?
Yeah, very.
That's a sign of a good broadcast. We're obviously entertaining. If it just flies by like that, we're doing all right. Gentlemen, thanks very much indeed. Now this.
Thank you, Stuart.